Hey everybody! Well, today I thought we could take a look at another one of these cool Timberkits model kits. Now they make these awesome automaton type of things where you turn the crank and there's all kinds of movement. Now I've done several of these so far, and this one here is the xylophone player, and it's really cool. So when you turn the crank, this guy here, I think his head bobs up and down, and I'm not sure if it turns, but he kind of goes with the music. And then his hands are hitting the little xylophone right here. Got all the cool little workings right in there. Now I've built several of these kits and they're really fantastic. The wood is really nice quality and they go together really nice and they're a lot of fun. Alright, so let's take a look at the parts. Alright, so there we go. Now I can't remember, there's different difficulty levels for these kits and I don't remember which one this is. But we can see, I think that's probably the base right there. There's his head, you can see his cool hair right there. That's really neat. We got some of the, these are probably the parts that make up the workings on the inside is my guess. So you can see all that. It's got really nice parts to these. These are a lot of fun to put together. Looks like one of the pieces came loose here. I'm not sure which tray that, well, it looks like it's just in that tray. But these are the ones that are probably the xylophone. I don't know what you call them, the little blocks that make the sound. I don't think this actually plays music. It would be cool if it did that, but I think it'll just, he's just hitting the little blocks that make up the sound. But these are all the rods that you use, the dowels that connect everything together. So there's 3 trays of parts to this one. I think this one might be a little bit simpler. There's the wax crayon for making the parts work more smooth. These are the dividers that are used to glue on those rings, and then that keeps the glue from getting on the parts that you don't want to get glue on. They always give you a nice piece of sandpaper in case you have to sand anything down. You also get a metric ruler right here, which comes in handy sometimes when you're trying to figure out the length of those dowels. And then they also give you this nice tube of glue, so everything you need is in this kit. And then of course we have the instructions, so let's take a look at those. Alright, so let's take a look at these instructions. So they always give you this nice glossary of parts, and they're all numbered, so that way you know which parts are which. And these ones here especially are important because they give you the dimensions of the little dowels, which you're really going to need because those are very important parts to all of this. And then there's the other page of those. And then we just start building away, and it kind of tells you when to glue things. Like right there, it tells you when to glue it and when not to glue it. Looks like we're going to work on the base first. And things get pretty technical when you get in here, but you know what? This one looks like it's not going to be too bad, which is nice. I say that, and then once I start working on these, they end up being more technical than I thought. So, and then they also have these that let you know that there's a video available on the Timberkits website, and there's like videos so that if you're having a problem with a certain spot, you can check out the videos, and they will hopefully help you out and help explain some stuff. This is really neat. Let's see, you're getting ready to put him together. I think I'll go ahead and paint this. I'm not sure how much painting is going to be needed. Maybe I'll have him wearing like a black suit, and maybe I'll try to put a bow tie on his neck or something like that, and then just paint these brown. Yeah, I think that'll be a relatively simple thing. I'll figure out what color to make his pants. There's his little batons, or whatever you call those, that he uses to hit the the instrument. This is really neat. This is going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to this. So, alright, well, I guess I'll go and get started on it. So it should be pretty cool. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. We're starting to build this whole mechanism. This is very cool. I'm always impressed with the way these work. Now this piece here isn't glued down yet. We're going to do that in a minute. But, so when we turn the crank here, now we have a triangular piece right here that goes up and down when you turn. There's another one up in here. And when you glue these together, they have to be a certain way. So this one faces up, then this one faces down, and then this round kind of off-center disc right here, that's got to face this way, so it's more on this side. So now when you're turning this, you can kind of see what happens here. I got to get everything, oops, I got to get everything all in place. So see how this is working? So you can kind of see how this is going up and down. I think this is one of his feet that taps. And then I think these must be operating his hands when he hits the little xylophone blocks. And then this part here, you can see the way that works. There's that off-center disc. It moves side to side, so this is going to be glued, of course. You can kind of see how it moves back and forth. And I think his head or his body moves side to side, so it's very cool. So you got to make sure you get all of this correct, because everything's got to line up just right. This triangular piece here has to line up with this post, and then you got to make sure that this is all done right. And here I accidentally glued this piece on backwards, so I had to take that off and redo it. And it's really pretty neat. So now the top section here, this is the top, and that's what it looks like. So you can see there's some holes right in here. Now this piece, this little thing right here, is going to go inside the slot right here, and that's going to make that go back and forth. And then this is going to go up on top here, so that big long post goes through the center of this, like this. That's going to go down, and that's going to be the top. So I think I'm done with all of this in here, thank goodness, because that gets pretty tight. Well, I do have to glue this piece. And you can kind of see inside here, see how that goes on there now? So now when you're turning this, see how it makes this post go up and down? So it's very neat. I am so impressed with this. It's always so cool. Alright, well, I'm loving it so far, so I guess I'll get back to work on it. Okay, so I think I am done painting everything. There was just mostly black. I'm going to have the xylophone player dressed in black, like he's some kind of like a, in a concert or something. So maybe he's wearing a fancy tuxedo. So on the torso here, I just painted all of this black, and then I just used some masking tape to make this angled section for his white shirt, and just used a Sharpie to draw in the little buttons and the bow tie. I thought that was kind of a neat little thing to do. This is the whole apparatus that we're getting ready to put him on. That's his waist section, or crotch area, I guess you could call it. And so I painted that black. And then this is all the stuff that's going on down here. I got everything all measured out. Now I'm thinking maybe these are going to be the parts for the xylophone. These are the little bars. I don't know what you call those. I'm sure there's a more professional name for the things that you hit to make the music. Now I'm thinking about using some brown paint on there, but I'm not sure yet. I want to see what kind of sound it makes when he hits those. Now it doesn't really play music. It would be cool if it did, but maybe it makes some kind of a sound, and if I paint it, it might make the sound more dull. So I'm not sure I'm going to paint the xylophone yet. If it doesn't make any kind of sound, then I'm going to go ahead and paint that brown just to kind of make it look a little more realistic. But I think that's it for now. So, and I also painted his head. This is his face. We haven't got his face on there. So I gave him some blonde hair. And then this face plate is going to... Where is it? It's right here. This is the face plate that goes on the front. And we're going to glue on his eyes and his nose. So I went ahead and just painted the yellow on there, so that when you put it on the front here, see, it's going to match up like that. So yeah, so it should be pretty cool. Alright, well, anyway, I'm really loving this build so far, which I tend to love most of these. Alright, well, here he is all finished, and boy, I really like this one. This one's really, really cool. Look how good he looks. So now, as you can see, I decided not to paint the xylophone, because he does hit the bars here. Now, he doesn't use... This one doesn't actually make contact as much as that one does. Now here, I'm going to go ahead and turn it... I'll start turning the crank here, and you can see what he does. It's pretty cool. So you can see all the, the movement on here. It's very, very cool. There's a lot going on with this movement. You can see his foot is tapping right here. And then each of the arms... Let me see if I can go this way, because I want you to see... He looks better from this side, but I don't know if I can do it this way. It's kind of hard to hang on to it. Now you can see you can see that his left hand is hitting the xylophone bars right here, but this one doesn't hit it as much. And I do like the sound that it makes, so that's why I decided not to paint it, because I don't want it to muffle it. It'd be cool if they made actual music, but that would be really hard to pull off. Now you can see how his head moves. It kind of bobs up and down as well. And it's really cool. I mean, it kind of moves on this little, like, angled part of the neck. So it's very cool. So let me get you some close-ups so you can see what he looks like all close up. Now here you can see his face. It's It's just made up of a couple of rings, and there's a kind of a half ring right there, and then the ears have this kind of beveled edge. Now in the instructions I thought that beveled little ring was the part that goes up inside of his head, and I was getting so confused. Sometimes it's hard to kind of tell by the pictures what's what, but I finally figured out it was just a regular standard ring that goes on the inside in there. And there's the neck I was telling you where it's angled, so when you turn that, let me see if I can do this. See how kind of his head goes up and down. And it has this kind of bobbing effect. You can see it goes down and up. He looks down a little bit and he looks up. It's very cool. You can see there's a kind of a 2-point connection on his arm right here. And the back one is what's doing all the movement, because that other part's just a pivot. Then here you can see how he's hitting these little things. And you can see he's actually hitting the little chords up here. It's kind of hard to do this one-handed, but you can see what's going on. Down here you can see how his foot is tapping. For a while there I couldn't get this to work just right, because you can see it kind of goes crooked in there. It doesn't always drop all the way down. Here's all the mechanisms going on in here. It's really cool how they figure this out. Now that one triangle piece right in here, it's in this kind of weird looking piece that kind of has these like scoops in there, and you can go either way. You can go this, you can go counterclockwise if you want to turn it. So it's made to go either way, because there's like 2 of those scoops in that thing, but I find it goes a little bit better clockwise, at least the way that I built it. It might be different when you build it, and plus the more you use it, the more loose it gets. You can kind of see how that little kind of like crooked disc right there moves that from side to side. So the side to side, I'm trying to figure out what that does. Oh, I know, it makes his body turn. See how his whole body kind of turns on the waist area right there? It's really neat. I mean, I don't know. You got to look at something like this and think, how in the world did they figure this out? I mean, it's simplicity itself, but it's also complexity as well. It's really, really amazing. I don't know. This is probably one of my favorites. I do think that painting him definitely made him look better. I like the little tux kind of thing that he's wearing, or just kind of a fancy thing like he's doing some kind of performance at a big, event somewhere. And then you can see all the bottom construction here. And that part is about the last part that you do. Yeah, this is really neat. I really like this one a lot. It's probably one of my favorites. So there we go, the xylophone player from Timberkits. Really, really like this one a lot. It retails for about maybe, I think it's about $41-ish. I had to convert it because it's in pounds when you buy it. So in dollars, it's about $41, maybe a little over, $41.65, something like that. I don't remember exactly. But it's really fun. I really liked it. It wasn't really super complicated like that vintage car. That one kind of, oh, I just broke the handle. But yeah, it's not as crazy as the vintage car one. This one's more simple, and I like it. And I think it actually does more, or looks better than the car one, at least in my opinion. It just has a lot more going on, but it's really neat. I really like this one. So if you're interested in one of these, I'll put a link in the description, and you can check it out. They have a bunch of other kits. I have one more to build from this company that I bought, and that one's the Knee Knock Dock. I can't wait to build that one. That should be pretty fun too. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'd very much appreciate it. And until the next time, we'll see you on the next video. So thanks again, and have a good one.